And as I alluded to earlier, it's not how big your following is that counts, but what you do with them. And almost everybody misses that piece. And most people seem to think that they just make content, put some hashtags in, and hope for the best. And that just hope people will walk in your shop. But there's so much more action that we can do that people just miss out over and over again.
Hi, I'm Becky Eakins, business mindset and lifestyle coach for occupational therapists. I focus on creating a freedom-based online business, helping OTs to package up their skills in unique and exciting offers that feel so good that they sell with ease in the online space. Since leaving the profession of OT, I have now worked with hundreds of clients online, helping them to create a life they feel inspired by. In this podcast, I will talk about the lifestyle goals, mindset, and strategy you need to create your own life of freedom.
Hello. So, why rushing for passive income will actually slow down your financial growth? So often, I have seen OTs racing to create passive income over and over again. I've seen this, and there's quite a culture and there's quite a movement for it. And why not? Because let's face it, it is very appealing. The idea that we don't have to work, passive income being income that you create once and it keeps on working for you. And lots of posts that people put out saying you can make quick income doing this, and it's a bit like a magic pill, isn't it? It's a bit like the weight loss thing that we all just want to take something easy that's going to solve all our problems. But is it as easy as we think? And I would say not. But just thinking about it with passive income, creating money that comes back to you over and over again, it is a very smart business move. I can't deny that. And it will truly allow you to have the freedom movement that we're all craving. And the OT skills that we've got, they do lend themselves to passive income. So why? Why am I saying that it's not a good idea? And on top of that, just imagine that feeling of waking up in the morning and seeing that people have been buying your products overnight. There's money coming into the bank account for something that you did a while back and it's still making money. It's so appealing and it will free you up to spend time with your kids, travel, and maybe just look after you in a way that you've never done before. So why? Why am I telling you not to do it? I'm actually telling you not to do it at the start of your business. And I know this will make me unpopular, but I've just seen it fail time after time after time. And over the years of working with OTs, one of the biggest cohorts of incoming clients are those who've already got courses. They've already been trying to create this passive income. And they may have got a few different things that are working for them, but bringing in very, very small amounts of income when they come to me. So many clients will come to me with multiple courses, for example, and when I ask the prices that their courses are selling for, they're anything from $45 to $200. I actually had somebody who was selling something for $7 the other day. And that $7, they were needing to put quite a lot of work into as well. It wasn't even completely passive. So when I ask how many sales people are getting, it's very often less than 10 a month. And so this is not passive because the marketing is taking so much work that it's not covering the amount that you're getting paid for it. And they're not selling because in general, the OTs don't have the marketing skills to sell them in the first place. And when we speak to the same OTs that have tried to create this passive income, and we're asking about financial goals, and they really want their passive income to exceed the cost of their lifestyle. So very often we're looking at 10K per month that most people would like to earn. But I'll let you do the maths. You know, if you're making less than 10 sales and your course is $45 or maybe even $150, you're just way off making that kind of income. And in fact, mostly people come to me because they're at a deficit, because actually the cost of learning how to create the course, so they've probably taken a course to produce a course, and they're still paying those things off. And it's quite possible that the website or hosting platform for the course is costing more than they're earning. And this means that they're effectively running at a loss. So for low cost courses and low ticket items, things with small profit margins, we do need a massive amount of regular sales to create a viable income. So we're looking at a large volume of sales if the cost is low. And occasionally you'll meet an OT who's just got like a really incredible following. They've just naturally got social media, they've got thousands of followers, and they're just an influencer. Now, those people are best placed to choose an option like this. But for most of us who have, 200 to 300 followers, we're just average people, average marketing skills, in which case it's definitely the wrong way to be doing business. So, and just so you know, I happen to know that many of my clients who've got 200 to 300 followers on Instagram are earning more than some of the big influencers who've got masses of followers. So just because you've got a lot of followers doesn't mean to say you know how to monetize that, because that's a very different skill. So it's not a predictor of income just because somebody's mastered social media skills. But yes, so we don't want to be trying to go for passive income if we haven't figured out how to use social media. And it takes time, to be realistic, to gain these skills. And it's too soon in your business to be trying to create passive income when we're at the start and you've got all of these skills to learn. So I do believe that it's a good idea within a business, but just it needs to come later on. So this obsession with thinking that you can create fast and easy ways to make money is often the failure of a business, because it just takes so much time, so much focus, and people aren't getting paid while they're doing it. So very often that means they've got to keep the day job, and it becomes stressful because you work in a lot of hours without ever getting paid. So I love having a freedom style business. Every day I wake up in the morning and most of the day is for me. I look at the weather, the mood of my children, and just what I want to do in each given day. And then we make a choice. Never before in my life have I had all of this freedom to travel, to spend hours walking in the forest, or maybe just lazing around in the bath. Self-care just takes on a whole new meaning when you can really truly tune into the needs of your body and respond instantly without this constant pressure to work. So it's very freeing. But I didn't get that from racing for passive income. So I have a bit of passive income in my business, but not enough. So that's definitely something that I'm working on growing. But I do get paid for the work I do, and I do deliver a high quality service to my clients without needing to take a lot of my time. So bit by bit, what we're doing as a company is we are automating more aspects of my business. So each week that goes on, there'll be a new automation, something else that the computer is doing that I no longer have to do, which is great. It's lovely to be working like that. But there's no pressure for this to happen quickly, as I'm paid well for this stage of the business. So I'm not having to keep a day job. I'm not having to work long hours. But when you try and create passive income from the start, you've got to do all of this automating, the tech stuff. You've got to do all of that without actually getting paid. So we're doing it in more of a comfortable way. So there's no desperation from me to complete it all. In fact, I largely just sit back and let my team members do the bits because I'm not great at tech, if I'm honest. I don't even have the vision for it. I really heavily rely on my team to help support that. And I have got a business structure where my staff, my team who are supporting me, they are so good at the things that I'm weakest at. And that's a really beautiful thing. And passive income, it needs a strong tech input. I mean, if we think about passive income, the leanest products are digital products. And, we just want to make that right. We want to get skill with that. And so not trying to do this too soon in your business is a better idea. So when we rush for passivity at the start of the business, while you're not getting paid, you're often working alone without a team. So that's another thing that can make it harder. It can be a heavy load to carry. So basically, we've got these 4 areas that I see as the biggest reasons for why you don't want to focus on passivity at the start of your business. The first one is you don't have sales and marketing skills to be able to sell to many. And remember, it will be many if you're creating a low-cost item. The second thing, you haven't yet got a proven market offer. You're spending ages creating something before you've sold it. The third thing is you need to develop business skills, which you haven't got yet, or maybe you need to hire staff. And the fourth thing is you need to create a high ticket offer and then get paid for creating passivity. So just to speak into the first one there, most OTs typically have a lot to learn in terms of sales and marketing. From an energetic perspective, we've just got a tendency to hold ourselves back, play it small, and not put ourselves out there. And with a tendency to hide behind professionalism, logos, business names, and not truly showing ourselves. And OTs frequently don't invest in this area. And it's an area that takes quite a lot figuring out. And so when I work with clients, I do want them to start this piece straight away, because just to be realistic, it's going to take a bit of time to grow those skills. You need to practice things, you need to learn things, and it's, continuous learning.
I recorded a mindset meditation, one that you can do overnight. Very powerful in terms of helping you create the confidence, the self-belief, and deal with any money mindset issues. I use these kind of overnight meditations all the time. I found them incredibly powerful. So I've created a very special one, and I'm giving it for free to all of my podcast listeners. You can download it on the show notes.
And as I alluded to earlier, it's not how big your following is that counts, but what you do with them. And almost everybody misses that piece. And most people seem to think that they just make content, put some hashtags in, and hope for the best, and that just hope people will walk in your shop. But there's so much more action that we can do that people just miss out over and over again. And many online courses that teach strategies for sales and marketing, they're not actually teaching for a business that aligns to OT and the values that we have. They're very often selling products rather than something that comes from our heart. So we just need to navigate social media in a way that feels authentic to us and what our message is. So there's stuff to learn there. So the second thing that I mentioned, a second reason why creating passive income at the start of your business is not a great idea is because you do not yet have a proven market offer. And that is because you haven't sold anything yet. Once you've sold things, you know that people will buy it, and everybody always gets it the wrong way. They're like, no, we're going to spend ages creating this thing, then we're going to sell it, but we need to do it the other way. So never create anything before you've sold it. And I know that sounds crazy, and I have this discussion with my clients repeatedly, but you've all got skills to be able to produce something in magical timeframes. If you've got a sale, there is nothing like the motivation of a sale to make you work at top speed and produce something that is just going to be amazing. And there's ways we can do this, because so many times I meet OTs and they think they need like the perfect offer, the perfect resources, and they're wanting to. I've met OTs who have spent years creating resources and never sold anything, but it's the wrong way round. You'll create resources in magical ways at top speed when you've got a client, because it just comes from you so much faster. And we don't need to overpromise and overdeliver. We need to create something that's frictionless for us, and it will keep improving as we go along. But we don't need like this perfect polished thing that's comparable to people that have been in the industry for years. So don't worry about that. So don't try and create something before you've got a proven market offer, because you don't know if it's going to sell. And there is no deeper market research than working with a client who's already paid for your product, because that's the exact kind of client who is going to pay for something else in the future. It will help you develop the most appropriate resources instead of you just airy fairy. Oh, I think somebody will like this. I think somebody will like that. When you're actually working with somebody, it's a different energy. So don't waste your time. Don't create something that you haven't sold yet. And let's just go to the worst case scenario. What if you make like multiple sales? And just so you know, this doesn't happen a lot, but every now and again, people will make sales without really doing anything. What's the worst that can happen? You make a sale and you say, right, well, this will be starting, a week on Friday. It's not a massive deal. So you can do that. And even the worst case scenario would be you've got somebody's money and you say, hey, I'm really sorry, it's taken a little bit longer. Here's a refund. But you know that this is worth making because you made sales so easy. So don't worry about it, and just keep trying. The third thing, and let's not be big-headed here and just make the assumption that what you're going to sell is going to be immediately successful. Let's actually realize that you are on a journey, that you need to gain business skills, sales skills, marketing skills, and actually just be realistic about this. So the longer you spend making a product, the slower you are to gain the skills that you need. And it's the skills that are going to get you the results. And everybody comes to business with different strengths. So you're bound to have some strengths that you've got, but you're bound to have some areas of growth that are required. So if you're focusing, putting all your effort, as I see so many times, on creating a website, doing a logo, making a course, or whatever else passive income that you're making, you are wasting time because you're not developing the skills you really need to make money. And honestly, quite honestly, creating passive income, it will take your time. It will eat your time. It will gobble it up. and you're just losing skills all the time there because you're not actually being able to invest in gaining those skills. So what we're creating here is not affiliate marketing. It's not a get rich kind of scheme. It's not a magic pill. We have life-changing skills that can transform people's lives. And we've got an ability to be able to create something that's just deeply fulfilling for us in terms of delivering and so transformational to our clients. In 2019, I'd actually left OT. I'm no longer a registered OT, and I left OT just kind of thinking I was retiring. Really, I was 40. I was burnt out. I felt that was enough for me. I had 6 months off work, and my 6 months off work coincided with COVID. We had COVID. I had long COVID. I was in bed for quite a lot of time. I don't know, long COVID or mix of depression because we should have been traveling Europe and we wasn't. So it was a long kind of period of doing very little, but 6 months. But by 6 months, I had things bubbling up inside me, ideas, just passion. I wanted to help people again. I missed that OT work. I missed OT, the kind of OT where you're helping people, where you're really solving problems. Like I missed that. And of course, I realized that I couldn't retire. This couldn't be the end of my journey because I had too much to give as a person. And actually, it didn't make sense for me to sit there and be a mum. I was a mum and a home educator. So that was a big role. But for me, that was never enough. I needed intellectual stimulation, but I needed to have that sense that I was connected to the world and I was giving, and that was really important. And that's why I think sometimes when we race for passive income, we're forgetting that actually there's a lot of joy to be found in helping people and really creating something special. So instead of rushing to create something so we can be lazy and sit back, and that's a lovely thought, especially when you're burnt out. It's exactly the thought that I was having. But there is beauty in creating things, in helping people. And I believe that what we can do is have it all. I believe that when we work the opposite way and that we really spend time enjoying collecting these skills, and the passive income can come. And it will come later, but once we've mastered the collection of all of these skills, and the journey in business can be fun. So it's only stressful if it's like, oh no, we've got to create something in a certain time frame. And very often that's what happens when we're rushing for passive income. But if we can master one sale at a time, high ticket, and we enjoy the process and we're not rushing and we're slowly creating something and it's life changing for people, feels beautiful every step of the way. So the journey really can be fun. I think as OTs, we know that more than anybody. It can be fulfilling. It can be just so rewarding. And we miss that if we're racing for passive income. So that's the third one. The fourth one is let's create a high ticket offer and get paid for making your passivity. Why not? So if you learn to package your skills up into a high ticket offer, you only need to sell low numbers. That makes it so much easier. And believe it or not, it is easier to sell products that cost a higher amount than it is to sell cheap products. And I know when I got told that, I didn't believe it. But again and again, it's just proven to be true that those higher numbers are easier sales. And so this allows you, when you create a high ticket offer, it allows you to have a deep sense of pride in your work. It allows you to spend time collecting the skills, and it allows you to have a proven market offer before you waste time in creating something that people aren't going to buy. So I'm not going to waste my time and talk about high ticket offers because there's another podcast episode, you can go back to that one. But if you create something bespoke, unique, and a transformation, you sell it and then just start automating sections of it in the background. And that way you are paid for the next steps. It's always good to be paid while you do the next stage of your business. And remember, if you're racing for passive income, you're not paid while you are creating it. So this way you bring in higher income and you're paid for doing it. And there's just so many reasons why high ticket makes a lot of sense. So I've had call after call with OTs who've come to me with years of wasted time on passive income streams. Honestly, people will tell me 8, 9, even 10 years that they've been creating courses and they're there in the background creating this small amount of income. And I don't believe that this is wasted time, just so you know, because we can use this. So this is why I like to work bespokely with people one-to-one, so that we can package up everything they come with and create an even better higher ticket offer. So don't despair if that's you, because we can use everything you've got. But just think carefully whether you really want to race for passivity in your business. Is it really the time for you to be rushing into this?
If you are an OT with 3 to 10 hours per week spare, then the OT Yourself to Freedom membership is best for you. It will teach you how to create a business, an online freedom style business, but in an affordable way. And this is best for those of you who haven't got the time to really go for it. If you have the time to go for it and you want to achieve bigger results in a short space of time, what you're looking for is the OT Freedom Collective. This is for OTs who've got 10 hours a week or more and you're just really keen to get big results. That's where you're going to be closely supported by our team for a 6-month period. It will be intensive. You'll learn everything you need to create this freedom style business. And the biggest word that people say about it is that it's life-changing.